84.
Well, how times have changed. For more on this, let's bring in Paul Violas of the Violas Group International and Lou Basenese of Disruptive Tech Research. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
And Paul, things have really changed. I mean, look at the attacks now that are being levied against Facebook. And also, these hearings in Washington are going to be more than just Facebook. They want to hear from the leaders of Twitter, from Google, of course, the parent company Alphabet. Do you think that things are going to change for Silicon Valley?
Well, I certainly hope so, and I've been a strong advocate of that for a long time, Cheryl, and the reason being is that social media is a very powerful communication source, perhaps the most powerful today, and we have to make sure that we have external controls and oversight as to how this information is used.
I want to read you, Lou, this quote from Tim Cook. He was interviewed, of course, he's now the CEO of Apple, and here's what he said about what he sees as the landscape for technology companies. I think that this certain situation is so dire and has become so large that probably some well-crafted regulation is necessary. Then he says the ability of anyone to know what you've been browsing about for years, who your contacts are, who their contacts are, things you like and dislike, and every intimate detail of your life. From my own point of view, it shouldn't exist. One of the most powerful voices in Silicon Valley, Lou.
Yeah, listen, I think he's got a point. I mean, this is a dire situation. Nobody's going to disagree that regulation is needed. But I'd argue that it's a mission impossible that even Tom Cruise can't accomplish because of the fact that, honestly, there is so much data out there and it's increasing at a dizzying pace. Who in the world, what regulatory body is going to have the resources to, one, police it, and then, two, enforce any regulation? So, look, I think there's a lot of interest. It's a public relations nightmare right now for Facebook and all these tech giants. They're going to be dragged in front of Congress, but I don't expect much to happen. It's needed, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the best regulation here is going to be self-regulation.
I don't know, Lou. I don't know about that because, Roger McNamee was on with Tucker Carlson last night. He was a mentor to Mark Zuckerberg. Listen to what he said about what he's seeing right now.
That's the problem with the model. It's that they aren't treating us like humans. They're treating us like the fuel to generate profits. And candidly, I think that has to stop. I think all of Silicon Valley needs to reassess why it's in business and recognize that they can be incredibly profitable. They can still be billionaires without stripping the privacy from everybody and selling it to the highest bidder.
Because, Paul, it is a business. It is a business at the end of the day.
It is, Cheryl, but one thing that we're letting escape us at this point is that there is a business model that's in place, that's been in place for decades, that we could use here in Silicon Valley, and that is monitorships. We could make these companies pay for their own monitorship and monitored and regulated by the government. That certainly is more than doable, and God knows they've got the money to write the check.
Well, I don't know, Lou. I mean, the money may change. I mean, look at what's happened to Facebook stock over the last several trading sessions. It's now in bear market territory. And the tech-heavy NASDAQ yesterday taking a hit. All of this kind of on the back of Facebook.
Yeah, it is. But I think you have to ask the question here. If Facebook loses, who wins? Who's the natural replacement to pick up all the advertising business from Facebook? And I'd argue there's not any just obvious candidate right now. Google does not have a social network for it to monetize its advertising might. Twitter's kind of an also-ran. Snapchat can't figure out whether it's a camera company or a social media platform. So, look, I think there's a lot of focus on Facebook, but at the end of the day, yes, they're going to be regulated. Where are the advertisers going to go? The business is what drives this company, and the advertisers have access to the best targeting data and the biggest audience on Facebook.
Well, Paul, I would have to think that maybe Twitter might be a company that's going to benefit from this, because Jack Dorsey, was asked about this, and he said basically, look, we're already open. You can read every tweet you want to tweet. It's out there. That's the point of Twitter, complete freedom.
Right, and I would agree. I would agree with that. I also think, companies like Instagram, which is growing, rapidly by the day, would benefit from it as well. Lou raises an excellent point. It's well taken. But at the end of the day, I think we need to keep our eye on the ball here. There's significant amounts of information that's being disseminated against the knowledge of those particular users and members of Facebook. And this is something we need to keep our eye on.
No, absolutely. But, the consumer, the customer, the average person is now well aware they're being spied on, and we'll see if they change their behaviors. Lou, Paul, thanks for getting up this morning so early with us. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, coming up.